The wind rolls across the fields of Hudson, carrying whispers from the past. It's the kind of day that feels too quiet, the kind where the air itself seems to be holding its breath. People say time heals everything, but what happens when time brings back the one person you thought you'd never see again? Ashley Stanton is back in Hudson. After years of silence, she's returned to the place she once swore she'd left behind forever. And the question on everyone's mind, especially Caleb's, is simple. Why now? Hudson hasn't changed much. Not really. The same dusty roads, the same soft light spilling over the ranch fences every morning, and the same faces filling Maggie's diner with stories about horses, storms, and love that never quite went away. But something feels different today. There's a quiet tension in the air, like the whole town knows something's about to happen. Then, just before noon, a shiny black SUV rolls down Main Street. It moves slow, almost cautious, the way people do when they're not sure if they'll be welcome. Inside sits Ashley Stanton, older, wiser, and harder to read than she ever was before. The sight of her catches the attention of nearly everyone in town. Old memories stir like dust in sunlight, whispers of who she used to be, and how she once left everything behind. Years ago, Ashley was the girl everyone talked about. She had the charm, the fire, and the kind of confidence that could make even the quietest person in the room look twice. But Hudson wasn't always kind to her. The people, the expectations, and her own mistakes had driven her away. Back then, when she said goodbye to Caleb, she didn't just leave him. She left a part of herself behind too. Now, stepping out of that car, Ashley doesn't look like the same person. Her eyes carry stories she hasn't told. Her clothes, neat and expensive, say she's been somewhere far from this small town. Yet, under all that polish, there's something familiar, a trace of the girl who once dreamed of love and freedom, who laughed too loud and fought too hard. As she looks around Hudson, she feels the weight of old ghosts pressing on her heart. The ranch, the cafe, the streets. They all remember her, even if she wishes they wouldn't. She takes a deep breath before walking into Maggie's. Conversations stop. Forks freeze halfway to mouths. For a second, it's like time folds in on itself. The only sound is the soft jingle of the doorbell above her. People exchange glances, some curious, some cautious, a few pretending not to care. But behind the counter, Lou can't hide her surprise. She wipes her hands on a towel, unsure whether to smile or stay quiet. Ashley gives her a polite nod, the kind that says, "I'm not here to cause trouble." But Lou's eyes say, Hudson remembers everything. Ashley orders coffee, black, no sugar this time. Another change. She sits by the window, watching the ranch road that leads out toward Heartland. Every bump and turn on that road holds a memory. She can almost see Caleb there, years younger, smiling that rough, boyish smile, the one that made her believe love could fix anything. But life taught her otherwise. She stirs her coffee, lost in the quiet storm building inside her chest. Outside, a few people whisper her name. Is that really her? Someone asks. After all these years, the news spreads fast, faster than wildfire. Within an hour, half the town knows Ashley Stanton is back. And not just for a visit, rumor has it, she's bought land on the edge of Hudson. The old Peterson property, the one overlooking the valley. People are already guessing what she's planning. A new business, maybe, or something more personal. But Ashley doesn't explain. She doesn't need to. She just sits there, calm and unreadable, sipping her coffee while the world around her buzzes with questions. Deep down, though, even she can't escape the truth. Coming back to Hudson wasn't part of her plan. Something or someone drew her here. And though she won't admit it yet, she knows this isn't just about business or land. It's about unfinished stories, buried feelings, and the kind of closure that only Hudson can give. The door opens again. A familiar laugh echoes from outside, deep, warm, and unmistakably Caleb's. For a heartbeat, Ashley freezes. Her hands tighten around the cup. She turns her head, just slightly, toward the sound. The years between them vanish in a single moment, replaced by the ghost of everything they once were. But Caleb doesn't see her. Not yet. He's laughing with a friend, stepping into the sunlight, unaware that the past he buried is sitting just a few feet away. Ashley exhales slowly, a small, sad smile curling on her lips. So it begins, she whispers under her breath. The road back to Hudson has only just started, and already, it feels heavier than she remembered. Caleb hears her name the way a cowboy hears thunder over a hill he cannot see yet. It comes in little bits at first, carried by coffee talk and barn chatter. Someone at the feed store says a black SUV was seen on Main Street. Someone else says Lou served a woman who looked like a memory. By noon, the talk has a shape. By 1, it has a name, Ashley. He tries to keep working. The gelding needs a new shoe. The gate by the south pasture is leaning again. Simple chores, honest chores. But his hands don't move the way they should. The hammer misses the nail. The wire slips. He is a man built for steady work, and still the day feels slippery, like rain on old wood. He tells himself it's just news. Towns collect news the way fences collect dust. It settles, folks sweep, and life goes on. But this bit of news will not settle. It circles him, presses in, asks a question he cannot answer. Why now? He does not like that the question sounds like a plea. He does not like that a ghost of a younger self rises in his chest when he hears it. He thinks of the girl in a white dress and a stubborn smile, the one who loved fast and left faster, and he hates that the memory still has heat. He wipes his hands on a rag that used to be a good shirt, then tosses it over a rail like he is throwing the past away. It does not work. The rag falls, and the day stays heavy. Amy finds him by the old truck, where the hood is up, though there is nothing wrong with the engine. She says his name once, soft, the way you speak to a nervous horse. He looks up and tries for a smile that does not land. She knows without asking. Hudson talks, and news travels the ranch like a wine that slips under every door. Amy tells him not to run from the feeling. Name it, she says. Say what it is. He shakes his head because he does not have a good word. It is not love, not the way it was. It is not anger either, not the sharp kind that burns and goes out. It is a slower fire, the kind that holds long after the flames are gone. Amy nods like she understands, because she does. Loss and love live side by side out here. They share a fence. Jack comes by with 2 mugs and one of his blunt looks. He sets the cups on the bumper and says the thing nobody else will say out loud. If Ashley is back, it is for a reason. People do not come to Hudson to hide. They come here to face something they cannot face alone. Maybe it is business. Maybe it is family. Maybe it is a heart that got tired of carrying itself. Jack says he has seen every kind of return, and most of them carry a cost. The trick, he adds, is to pay the right price, not the one regret asks for. Caleb nods because this is Jack's way. Simple words, hard truth. The coffee is too hot, but he drinks anyway. It burns and helps. By late afternoon, the sky is that flat silver color that means weather is thinking about changing. Caleb climbs into the truck without saying where he is going. He tells himself he needs nails, or feed, or twine. But the list is a lie and the road knows it. The tires hum the same old song past the same old fences, and every mile feels like a year he thought he had put behind him. He passes the turn to the river and feels the tug of an old fight, then an old laugh, then the echo of a kiss he had not planned but took like a man takes to rain in summer. With his face tipped up and his eyes closed, Maggie's is busy when he reaches town. The bell over the door rings like it always has. The floor creaks where it always does. Lou looks up and her face softens. There is a whole talk in her eyes, but she keeps it kind. She says he looks tired. He says the truck was running rough. They share the small lie because it keeps the ground under their feet. Then Lou says it, soft as a prayer, firm as a post. Ashley was here. She kept to herself. She bought coffee and silence. She sat by the window and watched the road like it owed her an answer. Lou waited for a word that never came. Caleb feels the room tilt a little and sets his hand on the counter to steady it. He asks if Ashley looked well. Lou says yes, but not in the way people mean when they talk about beauty. She looked like someone who had learned to live with her choices and still carried them, neat and folded, in an invisible bag. He takes his drink to a corner table and listens to the murmur of the room. The talk drifts and loops, a small river of guesses. Someone says Ashley bought the Peterson land. Someone else says she met with a lawyer. One rumor says she is opening a training center. Another says she is here to care for a sick relative. Caleb lets the river run past him. He knows how water works. It makes noise, it finds its path, it leaves proof behind. What matters is not the sound, but the shape it makes in the ground. He thinks of that land above the valley. Good soil if you are patient. Harsh if you are in a hurry. Like a certain kind of love. A boy with a delivery cap brings in a manila envelope with Caleb's name on it. No return address, just a careful hand that knows how to draw a straight line. Inside, a single sheet. A note with 8 words that picked the lock on an old room in his chest. I'm here for the truth, not to hurt you. The signature is just an initial, but it does not need more. Caleb folds the paper once, then again, like it might break if he is rough. He feels something sharp and bright sweep through him. Not joy, not fear. A clean edge. Like the first cut of a new blade through rope that needed cutting long ago. He leaves Maggie's with the letter in his pocket and the sky turned darker than it should be at this hour. The wind comes up quick, tossing leaves across Main Street like a warning. He drives without the radio, letting the truck carry him where his mind is already going. Past the old mill. Past the church with the chipped white paint. Past the turnoff to the river again, where the water always says the same thing in 100 different ways. Keep moving. He takes the long road to the ridge where the Peterson fence runs like a scar along the hill. At the top, he kills the engine and sits in the quiet. Down in the hollow, lights glow in a house that has been empty for years. One window, then 2. Then the porch that he does not step out yet. He lets the night settle on his shoulders and listens to his own breath. He thinks of promises kept and broken, of the days he and Ashley tried to outrun who they were and the days they almost made it. He thinks of the people who stood with him when she left, and the man he had to become so the work would get done and the horses would eat. He is proud of that man. He is wary of the boy who still lives under the same skin. He tells himself he is here for one reason only, to find the truth she wrote about. He repeats it until it feels true. A car door closes in the valley. A figure crosses the porch, slow and sure, like someone who has decided not to fear the creak of old boards. He could drive away. He could wait for daylight and a safer talk. But the letter in his pocket warms like a coal. He starts the engine, and the sound breaks the thin glass of evening. Gravel shifts under the tires. The hill leans down toward the house, and the path leans up to meet him. The truck rolls to a stop at the edge of the Peterson property, its headlights cutting through the mist-like questions with no answers. Caleb kills the engine and sits in the stillness. The only sounds are the soft hiss of cooling metal and the faraway cry of a night bird. The house below looks alive again, warm light spilling from the windows onto the gravel path. It's strange, the same old walls, but something inside them hums different now, steady and sure. As if it's been waiting for him, he tells himself to breathe, to take this one step at a time, but his heart doesn't listen. Every part of him feels caught between 2 lives, the one that ended the day Ashley left, and the one that began when he decided to stop waiting for her. He grips the letter again, the one with her neat, careful handwriting. 8 words. That's all it took to undo years of silence. He's not even angry anymore. Just curious and tired of wondering. The gravel crunches under his boots as he walks up the path. The porch light flickers, like it can't decide whether to welcome him or warn him. Through the window, he sees her, Ashley, standing near the fireplace, turning over an old photo frame in her hands. For a second, he thinks about turning back, but something stronger than fear keeps him there. He knocks once, soft but firm. When she opens the door, time folds in on itself. She looks different, not older exactly, just changed. Her face is calm, but her eyes still hold that spark, the one that used to both drive him crazy and make him fall harder. She doesn't speak right away. Neither does he. The quiet between them feels alive, filled with everything they said once and everything they did. Single quotes T. Finally, she breaks the silence. You got my note, he nods, holding up the paper like proof that this moment is real. You said you wanted the truth. I do, she answers. And you deserve it. The words settle heavy in the air. Truth is a fragile thing in Hudson. It breaks easy, and when it does, it cuts deep. He steps inside, the floor creaking under his boots. The room smells faintly of coffee and old cedar, the same scent that used to fill their cabin long ago. On the table are maps, folders, and a few faded photographs. One catches his eye, a shot of the two of them at the rodeo, young and wild, laughing like the world would never change. He asks her why she's here, but she doesn't answer right away. Instead, she walks to the window and looks out at the dark valley below. When I left, she says slowly, I thought I was doing the right thing. I wanted to find myself, to build something of my own. But the more I built, the more it felt hollow. Success looks different when there's no one to share it with. He doesn't know what to say to that. The old ache stirs in his chest, the one that comes from knowing he tried to move on but never quite managed to. You could have called, he says quietly. I tried, she says, turning to face him. Do you know how many times I picked up the phone? But every time, I remembered the look on your face that day I left. I thought maybe staying away was kinder. He looks at her for a long moment, then shakes his head. It wasn't. The honesty between them is sharp, but it's real. She takes a breath, steadying herself. There's more, she says. The land I bought, it's not just for me. It's for something I promised someone a long time ago. That catches his attention. Who? Ashley hesitates, then reaches for one of the folders on the table. Inside are old documents, contracts, photos, and letters. She pulls one out and hands it to him. It's from Ty, his handwriting, unmistakable. The letter talks about an equine therapy project he wanted to start before he died. One meant to help troubled riders and horses find healing together. Ashley's voice softens as she explains. Before Ty passed, he reached out to me. He knew I'd been working with rehabilitation programs overseas. He asked if I'd ever bring something like that to Hudson. I said maybe. I didn't realize how much that maybe would weigh on me later. Caleb runs his thumb over Ty's signature, the words blurring a little as his eyes sting. So you're here to finish what he started. She nods. I thought, maybe it's time to give back. Maybe it's time to stop running. He lets out a slow breath, part disbelief, part relief. For the first time, her return makes sense. But it also makes things complicated. Because now, this isn't just about the past. It's about the future and whether they're strong enough to face it together. Outside, the wind picks up, rattling the windows. The firelight flickers across their faces, throwing shadows on the walls to silhouettes standing on the edge of something they don't yet understand. He looks at her again, really looks, and sees not the girl who left but the woman who came back to make things right. He doesn't know what tomorrow holds, or what the town will say, or if the pieces of their old story can ever fit together again. But right now, in this quiet room filled with ghosts and second chances, he knows one thing for sure: Hudson just got a little smaller. And the space between him and Ashley just got a whole lot harder to ignore. The past didn't just come back tonight. It knocked on the door, and this time, Caleb opened it. The night stretches long, the kind that seems to pull time apart thread by thread. The fire in Ashley's fireplace has burned low, throwing restless orange light across the floor. Outside, the wind moves through the trees like a whispering crowd. Caleb sits in silence, the folder still open in his hands. The letter from Ty rests on top, its words steady and clear even after all these years. He can almost hear Ty's voice in it, calm, patient, the voice of someone who always believed in healing, even when it hurt. Ashley watches him quietly from across the room. The space between them feels fragile, full of old ghosts trying to speak. She wants to say something, to explain more, but the words don't come easy. So many years of distance, and now here they are, breathing the same air, surrounded by pieces of the lives they used to share. Caleb finally breaks the silence. You could have told Amy. She would have helped you set this up. You didn't have to do this alone. Ashley nods slowly. I know, but this isn't just about Ty's dream. It's about mine too. I needed to come back on my own terms. I needed to face this place again, to face you. Her honesty cuts deeper than he expects. He looks up, searching her eyes, and finds a truth there he's not ready to name. For years, he's tried to bury the idea that she ever cared as much as he did. But now, seeing her standing there with Ty's plans in her hands and his name still soft on her lips, he feels that old ache twist into something else, something gentler, something closer to forgiveness. But forgiveness is a road that never runs straight. From the window, the glow of headlights crawls up the dirt drive. Ashley steps forward, puzzled. That's strange, she murmurs. I wasn't expecting anyone. Caleb sets the folder aside and moves to the door. The knock comes hard, too loud for this hour. When he opens it, Lou and Amy stand on the porch, windblown and uneasy. Caleb, Amy says, glancing past him into the room. We heard you were out here. We thought. She stops when she sees Ashley, her words fading into the hum of the wind. For a heartbeat, no one moves. The years of absence hang heavy in the air. Ashley breaks the silence first. Hi, Amy. It's been a long time. Amy nods, her eyes soft but cautious. It has. Hudson's been talking. Ashley gives a tired smile. Neither. I'm here to build something that matters. She explains about Ty's letter, the therapy project, the promise she's trying to keep. As she speaks, her voice steadies. For the first time, she sounds like someone who knows where she belongs. Amy's face softens. Ty would have liked that, she says quietly. He always believed horses could heal people the way they heal each other. Lou exhales, the tension easing just a little. Then you're going to need help, she says. Permits, supplies, volunteers. Hudson doesn't make anything easy. Ashley nods. I figured. I was hoping. Maybe Heartland could be part of it. The room goes still again. It's a simple request, but it carries the weight of 1,000 memories. Caleb looks at Amy, then back at Ashley. The idea sounds right and dangerous. Working side by side again would mean reopening wounds that barely scarred over. Yet something about the thought of it feels inevitable. Amy's the first to speak. If this is for Ty, I'm in, she says. But only if everyone's honest about what they're here for. Caleb catches her meaning. She's looking at him when she says it. He nods, quiet but sure. I'll help. Whatever it takes. Ashley meets his eyes, and for the first time since he arrived, there's no wall between them. Just two people who once broke each other and somehow found their way back to the same road. The night deepens. Amy and Lou leave with promises to talk more tomorrow. Their taillights disappear down the hill, leaving silence behind. Inside, Ashley and Caleb stand by the window, the valley below washed in silver moonlight. Ashley turns to him, voice barely above a whisper. Do you ever think we could have made it work? Back then, he takes a long breath. Maybe, but we were chasing the wrong things. We thought love was supposed to fix everything. Turns out, it's what you build after the fixing that really lasts. She smiles, a quiet, aching smile. And what about now? He looks at her, the firelight soft on her face. Now, he says slowly, now maybe we've got another chance to build something, even if it's not what we planned. They stand there a while longer, saying nothing. Outside, the first snowflakes begin to fall, drifting through the light like fragile promises. Tomorrow will bring questions, from the town, from themselves, from the ghosts that still linger on every fence post in Hudson. But tonight, there's a peace between them that neither expected. Ashley reaches for her coat, and as she does, her hand brushes against his. The touch is brief, but it hums with memory. "Thank you for coming," she says softly. Caleb nods. "You knew I would." When he finally steps outside, the cold air bites at his skin, but he doesn't mind. He looks back once, sees her silhouette framed in the doorway, strong, steady, and afraid. The woman who left him has returned, not for romance, not for revenge, but for redemption. As he drives away, the letter from Tide slides across the dashboard. One line catches his eye in the firelight. "Sometimes healing starts when two people stop pretending they're fine." Caleb smiles to himself, a small, weary smile that feels like the start of something. Back at the ranch, Amy's light is still on. The horses shift in their stalls, restless but calm. The snow thickens, covering the ground in quiet white. And somewhere out there, Ashley looks up at the same sky. Both of them knowing the truth, that Hudson has always been a place where stories circle back. And hearts, no matter how lost, eventually find their way home again.